Everyone, welcome to part 4 of Contact Management System LWC project implementation. Till now, we have built this much of the component where we are seeing the table and we also have actions for edit and delete, but we have not built these three parts, okay? The search bar, the new contact creation, and the bulk delete, okay? So let me quickly show you what we have till now. We only have this. We don't have the first three components completely. Okay, so we are going to create lightning layout inside the HTML, and in that layout I'm going to create these three controls. Okay, the input bar for user to be able to enter the data, and then this button, new contact button, and then also this button of bulk deletion. Okay, and we'll go ahead and implement this and also new contact creation, but for bulk deletion we'll see in the next session. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. So I'll navigate to my VS Code. I'll go to HTML, and here let's start creating the layout. Okay, lightning layout. So lightning layout, and inside lightning layout we have lightning layout item, lightning layout item, and then after that the first control that we have is nothing but an input box, right? To enter the search data that user wants to enter. So we that is nothing but lightning input. Okay, lightning lightning input. All right, so this lightning input will have few attributes. Okay, for example, type. The type will be of text. Okay, because it is going to user will be entering, user is going to search by first name or last name. Okay, so they will be entering some kind of string, so the type is text. And here let's just keep the value as, I'll explain you what do we have in value and what is the significance of value. Okay, and then also it is a search bar, right? It's an input search bar. So when user clicks on input, it's nothing but it's an on change event, right? Because they click on it and then they will keep on, like, they change something, right? Even when they click on it for the first time, right? If there was nothing and then they start typing something, that is nothing but a change that is happening, right? So for on change event also, we would have to define a function so that we can implement that later on in the JS file. Okay, so what happened to on change? Huh? No worries, we'll check that later. It's okay. And also let's just give a placeholder. Okay, let's give a placeholder here. Let me first define, let me just define the function. Okay, so handle on change, or we can just say handle search. All right, we will implement this later on in the JS file. Okay, now let's just give a placeholder. Let's just keep it as search by name. Okay, so we have type, we have value, and then we have on change. We can also provide label here, but I don't want to keep the label. Okay, but if you want, you can actually define the label. I'm not keeping it by choice. Okay, now let's just go ahead and create another two layout items. Okay, lightning layout items. So I'm just going to copy this first. So let's also give something in the value. So value is nothing but what user enters. Okay, so search key. I'm still going to explain you that what these things do. Okay, but let me just complete this layout item and then I will reiterate. So layout item, this is for first button, this is for second button. So this one is going to be lightning button. Okay, and in lightning button we will have the label as new contact. Okay, new contact, And then what can a user do on button? They can click, right? So we will implement the on click event here also. I'm just giving some name right now, and we will implement that later in the JS file. Okay. So on click, this is for new contact creation, right? So let's just give a sensible name. So handle contact create. Okay. And then let's just copy this button and then paste it here. Okay. And this is for bulk delete. Okay. So bulk delete. And here let's just give the name as handle bulk delete. All right. Okay. So let's just first pick this one and make the search bar work, and then we will switch to the new contact. Okay. So here, whenever we are defining lightning input, we are giving this value, and then this value basically makes sure that the user's input is binded with the LWC components property. So basically it is for binding the user's input with the LWC components property. So I know that this value is going to try and do that. So this is the property that I have defined. Okay. I have taken this property, and if I have taken this property in and assigning it to value, then this attribute will make sure that whatever user enters from the UI, that will be binded with this particular property. Okay. So that is the job of this particular attribute. Now on change event. Okay. So let's say whatever value user has entered. Okay. But you have the value here, but how are you going to receive this value on the JS file? So this particular this particular event, right, on change event, what it makes sure to bind an event listener, okay, to the property, LWC's property, components property. Okay. So this is my property that I just I've put here. I have not although implemented this in JS, but I will implement this in JS, right? But if I have a property and which is assigned to on change, then on change is going to kind of embed an event listener. Okay. So that means once I try to implement this function in my JS, I can use event listener, I can use event, and from that event, I can extract the value of this, right? As in what user has entered. Okay. So let's just go to the JS file. And before we go to the JS file, I just want to because these three will not be very much aligned because I have not provided any styling or styling and so let's just give a very basic styling. I'm going to give it as horizontal align as there's something called spread. Okay, I'm not sure how much area it is going to take. I think it is going to take more than the other two layout items. Okay, so and then inside the layout item, I am going to give flexibility as grow, and we can also give padding, and in padding I will give around small. Okay, and let's just give the same padding. So I want the search bar to be taking larger space than these other two lightning buttons, right? So this and this, that is why I have kept flexibility as grow here. Okay. So this is done, and let me deploy this. All right. So what we did here, okay, again, quick recap. We have created lightning layout. Under that lightning layout, we have 3 lightning layout items. And for every item, we have different tags that we have used based on what kind of input or button or what kind of control we want to create. So we have an input and we have 2 buttons. And on input, we have we have to implement this function. For button click, we have to implement this function. For this button click, we have to implement this function. Okay. So now let's just go ahead with this one first, handle search. So I will go to JS file. And here, and as I just explained, right, that this on change is going to ingest and basically it is going to bind an event listener, right? with this property. So this property now has an event. Okay. So I am just passing the event here. Now this, you know what, using this event, I can access the value event dot target dot value, and this value would be nothing but what user has entered into that search box. Okay. Now I have the value, but I have to store this value somewhere. Okay. So let's just define a property here, and search key, let's just keep it blank. Initially we don't have anything, and then I'm going to assign this dot. Okay. If you want, when you're writing this, you can also console this dot search key. You will see, like, you know, what user has entered. All right. I'm not gonna do that, but if you want to still see that how this is giving you the value, then you can basically console and then see. All right. So now we have the value from HTML to JS file. Now the second challenge is how to pass this value from JS to Apex. Okay. So where we are actually wiring the component with Apex using wire, that is where we can also pass the parameter, pass this value. Okay. But for that, at the Apex side, that particular function, that particular method should also be expecting a parameter, right? Otherwise, there is no point of passing a parameter. You won't even be, it will be syntactical error. You won't be even able to pass a parameter if the method is not expecting anything, right? So let's just first go to the class and complete this method. Okay. So this was the method which was returning us contacts. Okay. So I am going to here give a parameter. Let's just say search keyword. Okay. So now you can say that, okay, this method is expecting a parameter. Okay. So now let's just first go back to JS and pass the value to this parameter. When JS is calling this function, right, at that time JS should pass this parameter value. All right. So let's just go to JS and see how that can be done. Okay. So we will go to wire method, wire adapter. Okay. So this is where it is calling the imported method, right? This was the imported method. Now this method, right, is expecting a parameter. So it has to pass the parameter. Okay. So, and this is how you can pass the parameter here. And what is that parameter at the Apex side? That parameter at the Apex side is this search keyword. So copy this, go back to your JS and first write this. Now, other question is that which other property here holds the value? So this is the property that holds the value, right? From where? From here, right? Now this has the value that user has entered in the search box, right? And this is what you want to pass to the Apex method. So come back to wire again, and here we'll just pass this value. But this is not how you pass the value. You have to put it in the single quotes, plus you have to put a $sign here. Okay. Now there are, if I try to explain you this $sign signifies two things. Okay. The first thing that it says is that this particular property is reactive. Okay. So whatever user keeps on changing, this will have the latest detail, and every time it has the latest detail, it is going to re-invoke this call. So every time there will be a new value, this wire is going to get triggered. Okay. So that is the first thing, like, you know, the meaning of being reactive, and that is why this dollar is provided here. The second thing is that this dollar also signifies that this particular value is coming, it is sourced from the same component. Okay. So it's not coming from somewhere else, but it is sourced from the same component. All right. So this is how you pass a parameter to the Apex method. Okay. So once we have done that, let's just now go back to the Apex class, because now this has the parameter, but what is it doing with the parameter right now? Nothing, right? Now let me go ahead and explain you something really quick. Okay. So let's say when user goes to the UI page, user is not always going to, like, you know, search something using the search bar. They might just not even touch the search bar, okay? They will just see contact, maybe they'll update, they'll create, delete, whatever they want to do, but maybe they are not searching the contact, right? So what does that mean? That means that even if there is a search input or not, the contacts are anyway, the default set of contacts should get displayed. Okay, so basically, so that is condition one, right? Condition two is, what if user types in something in the search bar? At that time, the result that they should be displayed with on the data table, that should be as per the character they have typed in on the search bar. So it should be the matching results. Okay, so we have two conditions. Now let's just first give it a structure. Okay, so if, and then else. So what is else condition? In else condition, you always have to display contacts, right? The default set of contacts, which is nothing but this, right? This is what we were displaying before as well. Okay, so this, and what condition comes inside if there is a value in this, okay? If user has, so how will this particular function, how will it get a parameter value? If somebody has entered something on the search input bar, then the input lightning input control will receive the value, and it is going to bind the value from the UI to the LWC components property. Okay, and also the on change event is going to kind of bind the event with the say with LWC's property, right? And that is what we were executing in the JS class, right? Where we were receiving the value from event.details, event.target.value. And then we were storing that inside another property, and then using that another property where we were storing the value, we pass that property to here. So that is how the input search is reaching over here, right? But let's say if there is anything, that means it will have something, right? So basically, I want to check that if it is not blank, then what should happen? That means that if there is something, for sure, if user has entered something, then what should I do? So first of all, I want to put that check that if there is a value inside this, okay? So string dot is not blank and this, okay? So if this is not blank, then what should I do? So basically, you know what I want is, let me first write this and I'll explain you something really important. So basically here, my expectation is that I should be able to write something like this. And first name like this, right? Search keyword. Now, have you seen, so if I hard code the value, right? Let's say user has passed ABC, okay? So what will be inside search keyword? ABC, right? But is this how, even if I remove this, right? Is this how the SOQL query works? No, right? SOQL query needs, right? Because this is a random character, 3 characters or 4 characters that user is providing. How I want to form the query is like this, okay? Percentage, and then also percentage at the end. So even if there are any first name, if ABC exist, no matter where on the name it exists, I still want to declare that as one of the match results, right? So now the problem here is that this percentage symbol, it cannot be passed in the dynamic query directly. Okay, so that is why we are going to first, let me just do a control Z here. So basically this is not going to help, right? Because this is only going to directly pass the search keyword, but we also need that percentage sign, right? So instead of this, what we'll do, we'll define another string there, outside, and in that string, we will append that percentage, and then I will pass that string over here, okay? So if it is not blank, then let's just take another string. Search word, okay? In search word, I'm just going to take this, and then what is this? Search keyword, okay? This and this, okay? So now I've solved my problem, right? I've appended this percentage keyword. Now here, I will just pass this. And That's it, right? You can, if you want to add like, where and first name like search word, and you can also pass where last name and last name like search word, right? So basically you can search the characters either in the first name or the last name of the contact where we want. I'm just including first. If you want to include second name, just put it inside like this, and then put a or condition and define your the like other search parameter based on the last name. Okay, so all right, I'm just only keeping the first name. Okay, let's deploy this. All right, so I have everything set on my class. I have the parameter. Based on this, I'm returning the results. Okay, and then if I go back to my HTML, I have everything, as in like, I have the value search key, handle search key, and handle search, right? So here, handle search, event dot target dot value, and then the search key property we have defined here. Okay, so that search key property will hold the value, and then in the wire I'm passing this value to the search keyword. So yeah, looks fine to me. Let me deploy, and then we can go ahead and check how is it coming up on the UI. All right, the alignment, and also I have not given any variant to these buttons. Okay, so I have to do two things. First of all, if you see, right, I have not given any label, but the label for this input box is still taking the place. Okay, so I have to hide that label using variant, and then I have to give blue color to this button and a red color to this button. So let's just again move back to the HTML and do it. Okay, so okay. This is my search bar, right? Where is my search bar? This is my search bar. First of all, to this one, right? I'm giving the variant as brand blue color, and here variant as destructive. Okay, and then here variant as label hidden. I am not sure if this is right what I've written, but let me try. The syntax could be wrong. This is deployed. Let's just go ahead and refresh this. All right, so these look fine, right? Now, if you see the variant is coming up, and also earlier you saw, right, that this was a little down and these were like, on the same level, but a little up than this particular control, right? Because it was taking the space for the label. Although I had not defined the label for the input box, but it was still taking the space. So that is what I did in this over here, variant label hidden, okay? So that, because I don't want to show the label. If I would have shown the label, then that was a different thing. Now let's see if the search is working, right? Let's stop talking about the beautification, but so Ashley, perfect. Yes, it is working. And let's search Tim. This is working as well. Jack. So every time user is typing something. Now, I think if you try to think, right, what is actually happening in the background, I think the number of times that I have repeated everything, you would remember by heart now that what actually happens. User enter something here, okay? Let's say Ash. Now this particular word would have gone to where? It would have gone to, where is the, here, okay? And now this value would have bind that user input, ASH, with this property, okay? Now this binding is done, But how the JS will come to know? Okay. So in JS, we are going to use the event. Okay. So this on change is actually kind of like, also like giving it an event listener. Okay. So this will have an event listener. Okay. So here, if you go, you can pass the event, and from the event, you can take out the value. And once you have the value, keep that value in the property. Okay. Now, what will this have? This will have ash, right? That is what you had written, ASH. This will return ASH. Now that ASH is passed from here to here. Okay. And then again from class. Now I think this is easy, right? You should. So here, when this is gets called, the parameter ASH is passed. And based on the result, where first name in ASH, that is what gets returned, right? And we have only one record where ASH is matching. All right, so this was search. Now let's just go ahead and quickly see how you can create a new contact using that new contact button. Okay, so currently if I click on here, right, nothing would happen. First of all, let me remove this. So if I click on new contact, nothing will happen because I have not written anything, right? So let's just go ahead and see that what we can do on click of this button. Okay, and if I show you the sample component, right? Let's just see the sample component. What are the sequence of activities that happen? When you click on it, the model pop-up opens up, right? That's the very basic thing. And when the model pop-up opens up, it shows us the record edit form, but none of the details are filled because it's a new contact, right? So nothing should be filled. But the first step is same for edit and contact, right? Because it is opening the model pop-up, right? The only, okay. So after that, whatever you enter, you save, and then the same process, right? Toast message and the auto refresh of the table. And then if you cancel, then the model pop-up should get closed. All right. So that is all we have to now go ahead and do it. Now, as we have already done edit, I think you guys would already have an idea how to do it, but I'm hoping that you are at least guessing what to do, but let's just go ahead and start with it. Great. So the HTML, where is the button, new contact? This is the on click, right? So let's just copy the on click and we have to implement this in JS. So here, JS. And so what is the first thing that you want to do when someone clicks the button? You want to open the pop-up, right? And if you remember, we had created a Boolean for model pop-up, right? So we just need to make that Boolean as true. This one, right? This dot model open. So we are going to first make it as true. Now, the other thing is that how we are going to display the record edit form. Okay. So we can display the record edit form. The only change that we are going to do is we will not pass the ID. When we will not pass the ID, it will think, the model pop-up will think that, oh, you are trying to create a new record. So it is going to show you the blank record edit form. Okay. So this dot, where is it? This dot, and what was that property's name, right? Where we were storing the ID. I think this one. Again, I don't know why I had put track. We can remove it, okay? Let's just remove it later. So in this ID, I will just pass as null. And that's it. That is it, Let me deploy this. So basically, when someone clicks on that new contact, I am opening the model, okay? And once your code enters into the pop-up model, it will encounter lightning record edit form, right? And then when it will encounter lightning record edit form, it will not find the ID. So if it will not find the ID, then it will have no reference to pre-populate data. So it will automatically understand that, okay, it is a new record. So it will not pre-populate anything because I'm not passing anything into the ID. All right. And then I think this is deployed, right? Now let's just go ahead and test it out. So let's just click here. And here it is. You see, right? Everything is perfect right now. And let me just put something in the first name. Let me just give something like, Robert or some name, last name, something, and then title, phone number, email, then account. Okay, let's just choose this one. And all right, so I'm going to save this. And then here the auto refresh also happened, right? So now everything is happening based on the lightning record edit form. Okay, but there's one thing that you would have noticed, correct? That the toast message, the message that it displayed was contact updated successfully, because we are displaying no matter what, but we are displaying the same lightning record edit form, right? So what's happening here is that if you go here, okay, so either you're passing the ID or not, but you are still using other things of this lightning record form, right? So if you're passing null in the ID, I mean, you could use it on the new contact, right? But for example, this one on success handler, we have hard coded a message for contact updated successfully, correct? So if you are still using the same lightning form for create and read, then it is going to give you the same message, right? So that's one thing. So I would say that if you want to try it out, you should do something like this. You should put some if else conditions, do some conditional rendering here. Okay. So put some condition, and based on the record ID, okay, based on the record ID parameter, try to render different record edit forms. Okay. So if there is a value in the ID, then show this particular record edit form. But if there is no value in the ID, then show a different record edit form rather than just using the same one. So that way you will be able to give like a different success message. You will be also able to give like a different header, right? So for that you would have to put the condition from here, or if you still want to use the same pop-up, but no, you have to create another one. So basically you just need to create everything again, because if you also want like another header, right, that create contact rather than just contact, then you also have to do the conditional rendering for this as well, right? So I am not gonna do that. Okay, I think now you guys would have understood that where and all data, how data flows, and what are the properties that we have created, what property holds what is model pop-up boolean, and how to render different sections based on these kind of conditions, right? So I would say that give it a try. Otherwise, just at least just practice what I just have told, because this is good enough for you to practice. Okay, although I'm telling you, although even if it's just 2 lines, it might just not work for few people. So just kidding, it will. But I would say that you should practice this first, and after that try to render the lightning record edit form, different lightning edit form based on the record ID. Okay, so going back here, we have implemented the search and the new contact in this session. Okay, in the next session I am going to implement bulk delete. And if you guys tried rendering the templates based on condition, and if you could not do it, please drop the comments so that I can include those, that part also in the next session. Or if I would have already recorded the next session, then I will create another session just to include that, rendering of lightning record edit form. Okay. So that's all for this session. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.